Hello again, welcome back to digifox Labs. I'm Mr. Fox. Today we're going to be talking about some news articles and something from the WEF. Now, none of this is financial advice. We are not financial advisors. Everything said here is 100% our opinion. Now, the first article that we're going to bring up to your attention is from the World Economic Forum, the WEF as we like to call it. And this is coming directly from their website, so it is literally coming from the horse's mouth. Now, it says here that the UK has begun the world's biggest trial of 4-day work week. What are the pros and cons? So here it indicates that the WEF is trying to push a narrative of a 4-day work week. And then if you're not familiar with the news, well, then here's your news for it. You're hearing it from us first. And why are we talking about this? Because at this channel, we focus on digital assets. We focus on opinions of investments. And we see this as an opportunity, right? We're not going ahead and saying it's doom and gloom, but this is an opportunity to go ahead and invest. And we're going to go ahead and dive a little bit into that later on in the video, so go ahead and stay tuned. Workers at more than 70 UK companies have begun trialing for a 4-day working week. Similar experiments have taken place elsewhere in the world with positive results, according to the WEF. Supporters say that the 4-day work week boosts productivity, but critics say it is impractical in certain sectors, which could potentially be true, right? I don't know exactly what, but there are sectors out there, some businesses that have to operate on something like 24/7, such as hospitals, right? So as we look further into the article, they say that more than 3,300 employees at 70 UK companies have begun working a 4-day working week with no reduction in pay. The pilot project will run for 6 months and is based on the 180-100 model, which is 100% pay, 80% of the time, in exchange for a commitment to maintain 100% productivity. So, as we scroll further down, there's something from 2019. This is the WEF. And they indicated that 2/3 of Americans say they prefer a 4-day work week. Assuming you were working a full-time job and your pay would be the same in either scenario, which of the following would you prefer? A 4-day work week with 10-hour days or a 5-day work week with 8-hour days? Scroll down and see what countries other than the UK are saying about this 4-day work week. In Belgium, employees recently won the right to work a full week in 4 days without loss of salary. In Iceland, the country ran a 4-day working week trial between 2015 and 2019 and found that the well-being of 2,500 workers who took part increased in terms of health and work-life balance. And so that is quite interesting, because what does this mean? Why is the World Economic Forum trying to get individuals to do a 4-day work week? Now, some of you may be pro for this and some of you may be con for this. For example, if you're an entrepreneur, that really limits your ability, right, to get involved and get boots on the ground for whatever your business may be, because individuals are going to be closed. Banking is going to be closed. Meetings are going to have to be now held within a smaller timetable within a given week. Now, on the other side of the sector, individuals that want to start entrepreneurship now have the time to do so. So it's almost a balance. And so whatever side you are on the fence, it seems that there is a narrative for you. But there's probably something a little bit deeper than that, right? Let's go ahead and go on to our next article. Here we are at our next article, coming to you from the independent.ie. In an exclusive released, I believe it was today, which is going to be June 23, 2022. I'm sorry, June 6, 2022. Again, in an exclusive, it indicates return of work from home, plan to save fuel in event of crisis caused by Ukraine war. And now, if you relay that information with what we had earlier on, which was the 4-day work week from the WEF, it almost seems like the narratives run hand in hand, right? I mean, when is this 4-day work week going to happen? Is it going to happen before, or is it going to come in after the return from home plan, right? And this is also quite concerned because that would inevitably mean a lockdown of some magnitude because of a fuel crisis, which would be the whole fuel issue due to the Ukraine war. And this is on a global scale. So the first one was because of a certain cough, certain illness, right? And now we are looking at another crisis of essentially a necessity commodity, right? If you're wanting to work. So now we have two economical issues. One has already happened because of an illness, and now we have another one on the horizon. That is quite interesting. Now, again, we're not financial advisors. It's not financial advice that we're telling you, but we are just giving you articles literally from the horse's mouth. This is coming to you from some credible resources, one of which was the WEF themselves, right? So let's go ahead and read a little bit into this. The Irish Independent has learned confidential details of an emergency planning exercise held 10 days ago between all major state agencies and government. We don't know who all the major state agencies are and the government. Now, if we go back to the World Economic Forum, that's quite a lot of major state agencies, all collective. And the government, well, they are a form of government. There is some form of governance, rather, right? So we don't know what that means exactly. Or it could be just Ireland, right? We don't know. But the fact is this exercise was held 10 days ago, which means it would have put it in the last week of May. And ironically, it was inadvertently leaked out. I highly doubt that, but, you know, it's hard to say. It really is hard to say. But going further on, the high-level planning exercise proposed 3 fuel supply deficit scenarios, and possible consequences were presented and discussed. So ironically, at a time like this, about 3 weeks ago now, they held an exercise of fuel supply deficits with 3 scenarios and consequences. Let's go ahead and let's see if these leaked documents were have anything to do that could be considered ironic, right? Delegates were given a scenario of a 20% diesel supply deficit in September. That's right. That is, we are in what? June, July, August, September, 3 months. So in 3 months, they are talking about a 20% diesel supply deficit and a 35% drop in supply in December. So let's go ahead and think about this. A 20% drop in September from our current levels of diesel. And then after that, an additional compounded percentage of 35 drop in December. That is astronomical, right? And then that's not even the worst one. The third one is the most extreme scenario, which proposed for a February 2023, how ironic, is where gas and oil supplies cannot meet the demand for electricity generation or farmers preparing to cut silage. So now farmers are going to have an issue, which means we're going to have a food crisis, which we have been saying for quite some time now. Electricity generation, which means you're going to have probably rolling power outages to save certain things, right? And it's all indicating coming to you on February 2023. And now they're saying on the World Economic Forum, a 4-day work week. That is quite ironic. Go ahead and give a thumbs up if you feel that is quite ironic. And so we see here, the Irish Independent can reveal that in the event of a national fuel crisis emergency, contingency measures discussed at high-level meeting included, oh, look, we got what was included in this. All non-essential workers will be ordered to work from home. Let me repeat that. All non-essential workers will be ordered to work from home. Ordered, not requested, not asking for volunteers, but ordered. Bullet number 2. A limit will be placed on all non-essential car travel, meaning that it's similar to what we have seen on the news on China. There will be a limit on where you could go. So if everyone's on a lockdown 2.0, well, guess what? You are going to be tracked. And how are you going to be tracked? Probably maybe by a phone, probably maybe limiting when gas and petrol stations or fuel stations are available to you, maybe even having a maximum amount of petroleum or gasoline that you're able to fill up your cars. So if you were interested in getting an electric car at some point in your life, very well, today may be the time. And then now we have the the third bullet point, a strict limit on the amount of fuel motorists can buy at any one time. Well, it looks like we spoke a little bit too soon on bullet number 2, because we see here on bullet number 3, it's stating what we just indicated earlier. So, quite interesting. The implementation of an immediate and strict reduction in the speed limit on motorways. So, now not only are they restricting the amount of fuel you could get and where you could actually travel, now they actually want to reduce the speed limit on your motorways. And it's fair to say that this is not going to just be in 1 or 2 countries. This could very well be in a multiple of countries. Going further into the article, the plan also includes the introduction of an emergency scheme whereby motorists with an odd number at the end of their car registration will only be allowed to drive or refuel on alternate days. Interesting. So on your car registration, depending on your number, is when you're allowed to go ahead and fuel and drive. That sounds very controlling, does it not? So that is quite a scary article. And there is a video here which we are not going to play because we could very well get demonetized and we could very well get banned, right? We had set keywords here that could potentially get us banned, but we shall see, okay? Now, on DigiFox Labs, we like to go ahead and trade and invest and profit going up in bull cycles and bear cycles on everything. We are currently in a bear cycle. So how can we go ahead and make money off of this? Now, of course, you could go ahead and buy gasoline and you could go ahead and get your electric cars now and maybe flip them when times come, according to this article, very soon in the next 6 months, right? That's one way to do it, right? But the other way we like doing it is, since we're going to be sitting at home, let's go ahead and trade it. And so we have 2 things that we want to look at, right? The first one being the Direction Work From Home ETF. Now, unfortunately, it was just released around the summer of 2020, so there's not much data to go ahead and chart, right? And go ahead and take advantage of those 2 articles that it more than likely seems that something is coming very, very soon. And there's opportunity. So unfortunately, again, this is a little bit too new. But there is one stock that we do believe that has the potential to make people some sort of gains in this unfortunate narrative that was released in these 2 articles. And that is with Zoom. That's right. As we see here, we did hit the level with this little red arrow going down. We came all the way down to the $83 region, which is retesting the previous region set back in 2019. And so if you think about it in this terms, this could potentially be 1 and then 2 bottoms right there, right? Giving you a grand multi-year support level, right? And then we also see that we went ahead and hit above the MA50, right? And it looks like we are still hovering above it currently as we speak. And that is quite good because, I stand corrected. It looks like we actually tested it and it validated that we are above the 50 MA. Now, the next point that we are going to test, which we probably will never I'm not going to say never, but we will not break through, is the 200 MA, which is this line right here. And what we see happening is this coming down just like this, and then you're going to have this banging its head right in that area. And we're going to go ahead and make that a different color, and there you go. And so that is exactly what we see happening. So we do see that ZM is going to have a mini rally, probably about $10 to $15 before it hits its head and comes back down again. And when it comes back down again, ironically, that is going to be roughly around August. And now, what happens when it comes down again in August, maybe September timeframe? We potentially see a reversal happening, because if we look at this, right, if you're going to be working from home, right, and then you're going to have a 4-day working week at some point, Zoom may very well be a good call to go ahead and speculate on, right? And we can see that if that is the case, we will be reaching the levels right around here, this green line that we see here. And so what we're going to see is it come up like this, do a little song and dance, and maybe come all the way up here, do this and that, and come right here and get potentially rejected. And then do this, and then form a double bottom going all the way back from 2021, and then come back up and hopefully smash through it. That is where we see it. Now, that looks like not one, but two shoulders right there, and then a head, right? Now, it looks like a smiley face, but that is what we see, and that is going to take roughly about 2 years. So now could potentially be the time to start accumulating Zoom and dollar cost average in for the next 6 to 7 months. Because if all this is true, coming to you from the independent.ie as well as the 4-day work week, because that transition is not going to happen easily, there has to be some sort of narrative, right? You have to reset, as they say, right? And Zoom very well may be the indicator, and we may see all-time highs if this head and shoulders does play out over the course of the next 2 to 3 years. So that is not financial advice, although that is 100% our opinion. Let us know what you think in the comments below. Happy days, happy trading, and good luck to you all.